candidate ultimately won the night. Former social justice director for Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign, Tezlyn Figaro, joins me now live, as always, with her pick. Good morning to you. I was following you on Twitter last night.
So, yeah, big fun.
Let's just start with your winner first, and then I'll get your overall take with the debate itself. But who do you think won last night?
Well, I think Biden won the debate last night. He had obviously the most to lose in South Carolina. He was confident, and it showed. He believed that he would certainly win South Carolina. I hope he does, because he answered that right out the gate, saying that, yes, he will win. And he was just in the fight for his life. I think he had the most at stake. I don't know if he was the most impressive of all, but I certainly think if we had to pick a winner, he would be that. But I think Bloomberg was also impressive as well. He came back from a huge disaster 2 weeks ago, or last week. So I think he certainly recovered and survived, but Biden did win.
But who do you think should be the next to drop out?
Well, one thing for sure that I think this needs to be said about Senator Warren. I believe in the idea of believing women, but it's also important to know, Senator Warren, that if we always believe women without evidence, we would still believe that she's a Native American. So based upon making accusations that she does not have evidence to support, I think that was wrong. She also played for the VP spot, which she did last week as well. A lot of people just caught it with the hashtag Bernie VP. So if she's not in it to win for president, maybe she should be the one that should drop out next. And possibly partner up with Senator Sanders to help him with Super Tuesday.
First words out of her mouth, very first answer, she was defending Bernie Sanders with that. Let's talk about this, though. Voters saw a lot of what's being called race baiting on the debate stage as the all-white candidates on the stage pushed their social justice records. Listen to this, and then I want your response.
I'm looking forward to making sure there's a black woman on the Supreme Court.
I know that if I were black, my success would have been a lot harder to achieve.
I've started a bank to support black ownership of businesses.
With the African American community, there have been a lot of broken promises.
There's 7 white people on this stage talking about racial justice.
So the African-American community, the vote, 60% of the Democratic Party in South Carolina coming up on Saturday. Who do you think did the best last night? Who do you think will win that specific category of voters?
Well, I want to say this. If we go back and roll the tape, I've covered every debate, and I said several debates ago that they stopped talking about black folks. So a lot of black people are kind of offended that they're just now getting around to it. Nothing was mentioned in Iowa. Nothing was mentioned in New Hampshire or Nevada. We get it. We know it's not a huge black population, but people did notice that now all of a sudden everybody's talking about black. But I also think it's important for people like Senator Sanders to know that not all black people want to own weed shops. I'm a businesswoman. I owned a staffing firm. I also have a 12-year-old in public education. I substitute at the public schools, and I teach adults in prison. So there are many issues that were not discussed last night that I think people find disappointing. But overall, I think Joe Biden has the most familiarity with South Carolina and will probably fare well better than the others because he didn't just wait until last week to make that
relationship. Well, his numbers are dropping, though. His numbers are dropping. We can take a look that in terms of the latest poll that we had Bernie Sanders coming in now with 35%. In terms of favorability among black voters. In November, that was 54%. But specifically, when you're talking about South Carolina, according to South Carolina primary voters, black voters, who understands the needs and problems of black voters a lot, 50% say Biden. And this surprises me. Steyer coming in right underneath him with 48%, and then Sanders with 41%. But I wanted to ask you this. Last night, Biden once again bringing up Fritz Hollings, who was a known segregationist in South Carolina. Do you think that that's wise for him to continue to do? This isn't the first time that he's done it.
I think he's at this point. People are just trying to throw Heather whatever they can to make the case. I'm not surprised, even if going back to what you said about Tom Steyer, how you're surprised. I'm not, because Tom Steyer has hired a lot of folks. He's invested a lot of money in media, which none of the candidates have done. We begged Senator Sanders to do this in 2016, and he did not. So I'm not surprised that Steyer's doing well. And you're absolutely right. When we talk about South Carolina, Biden does well, but it's going to really see how much he's invested in the black vote throughout the country on Super Tuesday. So I think at this point it was kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink. And we'll see if that plays well on Saturday.
Well, we know, Tezlyn, you're always ahead of the curve when it comes to things that people will be discussing down the road on social media and everywhere else. So we will see if that follows suit today. Tezlyn, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to have you with us.